Madhava Kunjavihari Vijana Vallabha Givaradari Vijana Vallabha Givaradari Dandana Buddhajana Ranjana Nandana Buddhajana Ranjana Tira Bonachari Tira Bonachari Madhava Kunjavihari Vijana Vallabha Givaradari Vijana Vallabha Givaradari Yodanandana Buddhajana Ranjana Yodanandana Buddhajana Ranjana Nadira Bonachari Nadira Bonachari Madhava Kunjavihari Vijana Vallabha Givaradari Yodanandana Buddhajana Ranjana Yodanandana Buddhajana Ranjana Nadira Bonachari Radha Madhava Kunjavihari Madhava Kunjavihari
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto first, chapter number 9, and text number 28 today. This is about passing away of Vishnu. Dharma,
Dharma,
Artha,
Artha, Kamo,
Moksham,
Cha,
Saha, Upaya, Yatha, Mune, Nana, Akhyana, Itihaseshu,
Itihaseshu,
Varna, Asa, Tattvavit,
Bhagavit,
Dharma, Kama, Mokshanscha,
Dharma, Kamo, Mokshasha,
Sahopaya, Yathamune,
Sahopaya, Dhamane,
Nanakyam Itihaseshu,
Namakyame, Itihaseshu,
Varnayamasa Tattvavit,
Varnayamasa Tattvavit,
Dharma, Kama, Mokshanscha,
Dharma, Kamo, Mokshasha,
Sahopaya, Yathamune,
Sahopaya, Dhamane,
Nanakyam Itihaseshu,
Namakyame, Itihaseshu,
Varnayamasa Tattvavit,
Varnayamasa Tattvavit,
Dharma, Kama, Mokshanscha,
Dharma, Kamo, Mokshasha,
Sahopaya, Yathamune,
Sahopaya, Dhamane,
Nanakyam Itihaseshu,
Namakyame, Itihaseshu,
Varnayamasa Tattvavit,
Varnayamasa Tattvavit,
Dharmartha kama mokshamscha
Dharma, Kavadasha, Mokshasha,
Sahopaya nyatamune
Ayopaya, Jadamune,
Nanakyane tihasyeshu
Nanakame, Shivashu,
Harnayam asatatvavit
Dharnayamasa Tattvavit,
Dharmartha kama mokshamscha
Dharma, Kamo, Mokshasha,
Sahopaya yatamune
Sahopaya, Jadamune,
Nanakyam itihaseshu
Nanakame, Itihaseshu,
Varnayam asa tattvavit
Varnayamasa Tattvavit,
Dharmartha kama mokshamscha
Dharma, Kamo, Mokshasha,
Sahopaya yatamune
Sahopaya, Jadamune,
Nanakyam tihesu
Nanakame, Itihaseshu,
Varnayam asa tattvavitu
Varnayamasa Tattvavit,
Dharmartha kama mokshamscha
Dharma, Kamo, Mokshasha,
Sahopayan yathamune
Sahopaya, Jadamune,
Nanakhani itihaseshu
Namadnaya, Itihaseshu,
Varnayamasa Tattvavit
Varnayamasa Tattvavit,
Dharmartha kama mokshamscha
Dharma, Kamo, Mokshasha,
Sahopayan yathamune
Sahopaya, Jadamune,
Nanakhani itihaseshu
Nanakame, Itihaseshu,
Varnayamasa Tattvavit
Varnayamasa Tattvavit,
Dharma,
Dharma,
occupational duties,
occupational duties,
Artha,
Artha,
economic
economic
development,
development,
Kama,
Kama,
fulfillment of desires,
fulfillment of desire,
Moksha, ultimate salvation,
ultimate salvation,
Cha,
and
and Saha,
Saha,
along with Upaya,
Upaya,
means
means
Yatha,
Yatha,
as it is,
as it is,
Mune,
Mune,
O sage,
O sage,
Nana,
narrations,
Ityaseshu, in the histories, Varnayam Asa, describe, Tattvavid, one who knows the truth.
one who knows the truth.
Translation and proper times, Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
Jai.
Then he described the occupational duties of different orders and statuses of life, citing instances from history, for he was himself well acquainted with the truth. Incidents mentioned in the Vedas literature, Vedic literature such as the Puranas, Mahabharata and Ramayana are factual historical narrations that took place sometimes in the past, although not in any chronological order. Such historical facts being instructive for ordinary man were assorted without chronological reference. Besides that, they happen on different planets, nay, in different universes, and thus the description of the narration is sometimes measured by the three dimensions. We are simply concerned with the instructive lessons of such incidents, even though they are not in order by our limited range of understanding. Vishnudev describes such narrations before Maharaj Yudhishthira in reply to his different questions. Om
Dashayanandana Kushmanidhanajana Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha.
Shri Chaitanya Vishwasthapam
Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Paramayam Dadati Sarvadantikam Bhum Shri Guru Shri Juta Pada Kamalam Shri Guru Vishnu Vamsha Shri Shamshaviratam Sagana Raghunatam Pitam Tam Sakivam Sadaitam Saboditam Purjuna Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Radha Krishna Padam Sadhana Lalita Shri Shaka Bintaksha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gavesha Gopika Kanto Radha Kanto Namostute Tata Kanchana Garangi Ade Vindavameshwari Vishwanu Sute Devi Brahmani Oribe Chakalpodurvasya Kipura Sindhava Evacha Puktanam Parvanebhyo Vishnava Namo 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 Vishnavadaya Krishna Vishaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Jyoti Devi Gauravani Utarine Indrishesha Shunyavati Lakshapradeshatarine Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Dharmakam-mokshamscha sahopayat yatamune nanam akhyam itihaseshu varnayamasa tattvavid. Yudhishthira understood that Vedavyasapriya was the Lord of the Absolute Truth. Tattvavid. Tattvavid is also known as the spiritual master, because he knows the truth, he can impart the truth, therefore he must be Tattvavid also. So, Janami Tattvata. Tattvata means in truth. There is one absolute truth without second, and it has been approached through different times, through different practitioners. Vadanti tattva vidastattva yajnana advayam praneti pramanati bhagavan vishnu. The absolute truth, those who know, they express according to their realization in three different terms. Impersonal Brahman or Brahmajyoti, localized Paramatma, who is sitting in every atom without atom and within their own heart too. And Bhagavan, the Supreme yogis may not be able to describe fully, but nonetheless it's a subject matter of the absolute truth. Those who are yogis, they will meditate upon the Paramatma situated within own heart. Yam Brahma Vrendra Rudra Tastam Mantiti Gisari Vedai Sangapadakramo Prishadai Gayan Yam Sanga Dhyana Vastivate Namasa Pashyantim Yogina Yasyantam Vidu Surasa Gurana Divaya Tasmai. Those who are demigod worshippers and practitioners of yoga system, they try to meditate upon one single moiety that is called the absolute truth, Paramatma, who is sitting in the heart. So it's a localized aspect. That person who is meditating within himself, he does not have to meditate anything on the outside of him. So yogis, they are trying to connect with that aspect of the absolute truth called Paramatma within their own heart. And Bhagavan is Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is also a single unity, but he expands in them. And all the expansions are meant to reach to each and every living entity on whom, whichever the form they can repose, they can meditate on that aspect. Ultimately, they know to meditate on Lord Krishna is difficult, but they prefer to meditate on the Paramatma level. Paramatma is an expansion of Vaikuntha Narayan level. But we understand it is Krishna's expansion of the secondary expansion of a Vaikuntha plan called Sankarshan. But secondary expansion of one of the Vaikuntha is called Mahashankarshan. And Mahashankarshan takes the charge for creation of the material world as Karma-Shaivisha. He comes with a cause of material creation. Why? Because he is the bearer of all the living entities who are wayward because they don't want to follow the rules and regulations of exclusive service to Lord Krishna. They fall apart and they are not able to sustain their individual existence. So, to correct themselves, material world has to be created, sustained, and dissolved from time to time by this agency of Mahavishnu. And that is an expansion. So, Krishna and his expansion are no different from him, but they are meant to reach each and every living entity. So, farthest expansion is Paramatma, who is sitting in everyone's heart. Not only that, he is sitting in every atom and between the atom. So, he is all pervading. There is no existence of a living entity without the existence of Paramatma. So Paramatma is said to be always accompanying the living entity. But he becomes so much blind, he cannot see who is sitting very next to him. The blindness continues as long as he has, those desires coming out from hate towards Krishna. Ichha, Vishnu, Samuthena. Samuthena means they arise simultaneously. Dvanda Mohita Bhava. is an existence of duality, opposites. Simultaneously, they enter into the world of opposites. So therefore, their desire becomes separate from Krishna's desire, for which the material world has been created. So all the intricacies of this have been given in Shastra and have been realized by Tattva. Which means no, Tattva means the truth, the absolute truth, not the relative truth. Material science know only relative truth. But the devotees know absolute truth. So, Tasmad Guru Prabhati, only one has to approach such a guru for the purpose of becoming perfect, becoming knower of the absolute truth. You have to approach it. Bona fide spiritual master. So, Tattva is not something hanging in the sky like a pie that you can pluck up. No, it is all pervading. But how to recognize that Tattva? It requires meditation or a process of purification and all this difficulty for executing the codes of religion. All the instructions have been coming down from time to time through the personalities like Vishnu and establishing the truth. So, the subject matter of absolute truth, but yet people have to perform through purification processes which are done in the material case. All the purification processes, they have to be done in material case. Because material nature, composed of three modes, at least it is bringing us to the mode of goodness where it becomes conducive to execute the duties of meditating on the absolute. That's how Brahma is teaching us. Maya ISKCON Traitanyatad Vishaya Vedavyasapriya Sattvavanni Parasattvam Vishuddha Sattvam Govindam Adi Vishnu Mahavajana. Brahma himself is composed of more passion. So any passionate person can cultivate the passion to know the Supreme Person. That is not difficult, but the discipline which has been given by Brahma, by his own realization, Vishnu also falls in the similar category because he knows the truth. Because Brahma ordained him. Brahma ordained him to become a Muslim. As we have discussed before, Brahma has created all the Muslims as the demigods. And he becomes the leader to instruct. So similarly, human beings are also instructed how to understand the absolute truth, but you have to situate in Sattva, at least Sattva, and meditate on the inner aspect of subtle modes of Satchidananda. You have to enter into more of Parasattva. Parasattva, Para is superior than Sattva. And that existence is performed by our activities which are sacred, transcendental. The transcendental nature takes us to Parasattva. But the perfectly pure transcendental nature, Krishna is saying. So there is a difference between Parasattva and Vishuddha Sattva. Krishna never leaves Vishuddha Sattva position. So in whichever way he appears, there is everything surrounding him is Vishuddha Sattva stage. Many of us caught up in the mire of material nature, we do not come up to even more of goodness, what to speak of person. We have to rise above the more goodness. What we say, intensified emotional service that can put us on the rank of person. Because everything in understanding Parasattva is transcendental beyond the effect of the moral goodness also. So there who can help? The histories, the characters of such a phenomenal personalities who were perfectly situated in trance, oblivious of the three modes of configuration. So Vishnu Pitama cannot talk otherwise if he is not situated. So this rules that have to be followed by each and every living entity who are in bodily conception of life. At least on the higher level as we discussed yesterday also in the evening, that there is civilization, Vedic civilization. And then it has to be corroborated by historical evidences. Historical evidences. The first one, the establishment of the absolute truth. It's not an abstract discussion, but it is supported by historical events and the personalities who were followed. So, the history becomes witness. History elevates itself. Just like when we say, oh, in Kali Yuga there is only one way to become purified, and that is chanting Hare Krishna Maha. Because it is written that for the age of Kali, every age of Kali, and Kali Yuga is not coming for the first time, it has been repeated 1,000 times in a 12-hour of Brahma. And the same time is passed in ignorance during the inundation that happens in the evening of Brahma. And another 12 hours will be passed totally in ignorance. So when Brahma wakes up, again, he has to remember what he has done before the inundation. Inundation effects came to him. But he is reminded of tapa. My maternal uncle used to chide me. Oh yeah, Brahma, it was nothing but the sound of that water droplet is falling. So they know the stories and all these things. So sometimes in the childhood she has to discuss. When I was living and argue, and he said, no, it was the sound vibration of the water droplet. Whatever it is, Brahma did. Tapasya, meditating on himself again to purify his existence so he can fulfill the desire of Lord Krishna in creation. Right? Creation without the proper mindset and knowledgeability or awareness, you can't do it. So Brahma has to do repetition every day. Okay. So naturally, in a day of Brahma, how many times are you going to pass? 1,000 times. And we There's no other. So what does it mean? In every Kali Yuga, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra was available for the salvation. But this is special. Why? Because not only Krishna came just 5,000 years back, it's a historical record in Mahabharata, but at the same time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. And he topsy-turvy. No, Bhagavatam says, Kirtana eva Krishnasya. Eva means only the holy name of Lord Krishna. Means the Supreme Personality God, Mukta Sangha Paramita. Person to become completely purified and transcend to the spiritual world, not the other. That Hare Krishna Mahaprabhu, that has been so much important. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is nobody else other than Radha Krishna, Swami, and he came to help, especially this particular age of Kali. It is said to be very nasty, but we think we are okay. Sitting in the corner of Vancouver, we do not hear any bomb blast or anything yet. So, the importance is that Yuga Dharma is Harinam Sankirtan and chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Otherwise it would have been called Rama Mantra, because Rama. But that is not the understanding of Tattva-ved. Tattva-ved means he knows the truth, even on the basis of the names which have been, or the nomenclature which has been utilized, to address the fact. And we see the meaning of Krishna, Ram, and Hare. If you see the common knowledge of generalized people, even though they know Hare Krishna Mahamantra by Hare Ram, but they do not have any deep understanding of the meaning which has been conveyed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada quotes, Rama means the pleasure potency of Krishna. It is addressed as Rama. And those who are Tattva-ved, they say that Ramanti Yogina Satyananda Chidatmani iti Rama Padinasha Parabrahma Vidhyate. The position of Lord Krishna is composed of all attractive and all blissful element. All blissful element is called Rama. If they are, fighting, no, it is called Ramachandra. Then, where in the whole episode of 14 years did Lord Rama give pleasure to anybody? But they do not know this definition. So, when Prabhupada gives the understanding with the reference to the historical fact and the references by the previous acharyas, Rama is connected with Radha. Rama is connected with Radha. When you address in service of Radha, what is the mantra? Mood mantra of Radha. Sri Ram Radhivaya. This is the mood mantra. She is meant to attract Lord Krishna by her service for the pleasure. She is a pleasure potency. Right? Therefore, Krishna Leela is more relishable with proper understanding in the transcendental mindset. Ramchandra's Leela may show the idea, but how do you understand the go to a foreign country, don't take your life down. Now, Ramchandra is having the visa for 14 years. But yet, Sita wanted to come. And the secret of Sita accompanying Ramchandra is to become so much conducive to fulfill the desire of Lord Ramchandra that he wanted to enact this particular pastime. Shiv, this entity, the Ladini potency, can never be separated from Krishna or the Supreme Personality of God. So in case of Ramchandra, the Ladini potency, even though cannot be separated, and she was never separated, but the enactment of separation is there. And Ramchandra also, as if he is so much affected by loss of his wife, that Ram abducted her, he was roaming around, crying for her. Oh, Sita, where are you? And Lakshmana also joined him. Right? So, where is the esoteric truth? And there, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains in the ninth canto of this particular episode, what the Supreme Lord has. Swabhava. Yasya prema vatsya swabhava. He's telling. That Ramchandra is so much absorbed in the love of Sita that separation is not bearable because of prema vatsya. He is controlled by the love, and yet he has to exhibit that she has been abducted. She can never be abducted. She is such a potency that it says that if she would have raised her eyebrow, she would have burnt round to ashes. But it was Maya Sita. Real Sita never leaves. So, these are the intricate things that we have to learn and satisfy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he toured the South India, specifically to find, is there any pure devotee? Yeah. And he comes back to Jagannath and tells, I didn't find any pure devotee. So, what is his definition for pure? Sama, mixed devotees. Even Ramanujacharya Sampradaya, there are only few who are trying to touch this esoteric subject. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu found some explanations and he brought along with it. He was returning from South India at near Adikesham temple. He found Brahmasangha. Right? So they gave him a copy and he brought with him and handed over to Sultan. But along with that, he was also given a manuscript that says that this is Mayasika, that Ram could abducted. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu liked this explanation very much. So he ended this understanding. Because historical reference and the treatise which is done by the esoteric sadhus and practitioners, tattvavit, they can satisfy your inquiry. Otherwise, even today in North India, do not understand Ramayana. They think it's ideal for human being, but it is too difficult. And Tulsidas wrote Ramcharitmanas, but he confesses that I have written this Ramcharitmanas for my personal satisfaction. But I have included references from other scriptures also. So it's not pure translation of Bhagavatam in local. And not by courses. In very early times, when he was in London, he gave a class, on the Sanskrit verse in the form of the prayer, beginning, that he uses the word called Swanta Sukhaya. I have written this particular treatise or characterization of program for my personal satisfaction. Swanta Sukhaya, my personal happiness. Now, somebody's personal happiness cannot be your personal happiness. Your realization may be there. So, such contention of some commonality that is applicable to everyone, how is it possible? How is it possible that whatever you have in your mindset to understand Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you may have a different attitude and attraction towards it. So you want to relish a little different bhav than the others. And that can be accommodated only in Krishna, not Ramchandra. Only servitorship, the exclusive servitorship of Hanuman, Lakshman, Sita is to be understood. Vibhishan is also there. But exclusive service and not only on levels but also serving the cause of the Supreme, without any anticipation of it. So Bhakti Tattva is there, but it will not describe the higher taste of relationships. One can be related as a servant, fine, that's up to them. In Vaikuntha, which is supposed to be lower situated than Ayodhya, the transcendental nature, so their oil reverence is there, but no servitorship. In Vaikuntha. In Ayodhya, there is servitorship, and oil reverence is also there. But in Guruvrinda, all of it is available. The grasses desire to get trampled by Lord Krishna's lotus feet, if he passes. So they are thinking, if Krishna passes through, I will consider my life to be successful. That desire is there, but it is all available. Servitorship, there are so many servants. They want to serve Krishna. Then fraternity is there. In the mood of friendship, then vatsalya. The sense of fraternal attraction. And ultimately, the madhurya, conjugal love. And our Shastrika says, Rupa Goswami, that this rasa has to be developed in gradation. You can transfer your servitorship into friendship. It is possible. And even within the friendship, if you have come across certain incidents, that Krishna is tired, so all the Gopa, they also say, oh yeah, Krishna wants to rest. So let me sit down so Krishna can put his head on my lap. the moon. So different dresses are available. So this is not only esoteric truth, but it is also to be practically observed and available to develop the higher and higher taste. So like that, you can transfer from better to better and from better to conjugal. There is no abuse or no shame there. Swami describes this. So the idea is that the historical references of Srimad Bhagavatam and Mahabharata, they are histories, actual histories that can take an aspirant to the higher levels of devotional service. So that knowledge is there in our Vishnu Purana. And but he would not go much. Rather, he would cite that so the Vedas personified and the Devas, or during Ramayana, there were sages. They also wanted to take part in Krishna by becoming gopis. Like that. So these are the historical situations, and it is not an allegorical language, but it is to be with an open realization subjects. Subjects of open realization. Because historical background is there. Appropriate examples could be given there. So how it is said to be a fantasy or can be described like, it is too much for us to understand. If you say chant Hare Krishna, that's good enough. But chanting is going to develop you to more and more higher status of spiritual understanding. So, Itihaseshu, Varnayamas, we have to give this historical reference in order to prove the point. In order to prove the point. And that what exactly dying Vishnu Purana does with full composure. Then he can put his attention deposed only on the Lord Shri Krishna, who is standing in front of his forehead and Vishnu. Krishna fulfills the desires of everyone because he is the ultimate of all absolute truth. So we are simply concerned with the instructive lessons of such incidents, even though they are not in order by our limited range of understanding. You can pick up from any Shastra the related references are there, and you can quote. Because this is an eternal science, it does not restrict by time limit. Rather, it is a recorded history, so you can utilize before, after. But just to prove the point, this is the nature of the transcendental subject matter. Transcendental subject matter does not have a beginning or the end. Material situation has a beginning and end. But the transcendental subject matter does not have a beginning nor end. So, Vishwadev describes such narrations before Maharaj Yudhishthira in reply to his different questions. So, we can stop here. Anybody has any questions? Any clarification?
Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Louder.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Can't hear.
You are,
I want me to put my ear in. Just give me a minute.
दूर बोलते हो ना इयरिंग की बोलते हो
Go ahead.
you have explained that different rasas, that devotees are connected with Krishna, different rasas, and in previous classes you also mentioned that Bhishma Deva also connected with Krishna, Shaurya rasa. So all the devotees are connected with Krishna in different rasas. And yesterday's class you were explaining, not here, in another class, about Mirabai. So Mirabai, so is connected with Krishna in any kind of rasa?
We do not entertain the subject matter of Vedavyasapriya, except, she met Rupa Swami, and Rupa Swami educated her about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and chanting Hare Krishna, and she accepted that truth. Instead of showing the most exalted separation vows that are mostly found in her songs, but she is not educating anybody, so what is the use? People will understand according to the limited practices in bhakti, but not scientific way. So Rupa Goswami instructed better call out the name in separation. Call out the name of the Lord in separation. And that's she's expressing in that last song that she created, and she exposes, is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came. She writes this last song, which is to be understood by the lyrics itself. Agato Harinama Lodhari. In conclusion, Agato means in conclusion, I have been attached to the holy name of God. Mata cha somati makhana karaj, jake baade bhama. It was a matter of stealing the butter, and Mother Yashoda became angry and she wanted to tie him. Right? That Shyam Kishore Bhayotarodhoga, Chaitanya Jagana, that Shyam Kishore Krishna became Navgogara and golden color, and his name is Chaitanya. Right? So then she is putting some questions. Kita Chodiva Mohan Murli. Why did he give up his most exalted Murli, means the small fruit? Why did he give up? Kita Chodiva Mohan Murli. Kita Chodiva Gopi. Even he gave up the accompaniment of the gopis. Why did he left forever? Munda Mundai, he got shaved up. Dori He put up a promontory around it. Martin Mohan Guru. He wore a little cap on his head. These are the descriptions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that she learned from us. We are concerned only with that. And she came to realize that she missed the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just like, and Swami was kind enough to tell that Vrindavan, she is a little late comer. She misses. So, if she misses Lord Krishna, the Viran is continuing. The separation is continuing. And she was all the way from beginning expressing only the songs of Viran. The separation. So, what is the difference between this Viran of separation of our previous so-called mindset and the Viran of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So, Mata Jashromati, Mata Gajajade, Madheva, Shyam Kishore Vaivata Chaitanya Japana, Kita Chori Vamohan Murli, Kita Chori Vamohi, Munda Mundai, Dori Kapipati, Mate Mohan Rupi, Avato Harina Munda. So we do not go on the so-called hearsay about this character of Mira. We go simply by our historical references given in Narhari Sardas, and Bhakti Ratnaka, and many others. We have to study and Vyasa. People try to interpolate even historical reference to suit to their own. But our records are clear. People are not much keeping the records. And we have historical fact that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his character, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is described on the strength of two resources. The first resource is the diary kept by Daksha Vimuktamanina Tai Astabhava Vishuddha Buddhaya Arudhya Krichena Paramapadam Tata Patanti Kata Ananda Krishna Amrita. So there was Swami described those who think that by meditating on the impersonal Brahman, they have reached to the highest abode, but of what? No, they fall. Why? Because they have not taken shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme. What is the shelter in Brahmajyoti? It's all impersonal. There's nobody there to support. They think they can merge like Vedavyasapriya. The pot, it has sky within and sky outside. So what is the big deal? You know, when the pot breaks, the body is the pot. It breaks. The inner atmosphere is mixing with the outer atmosphere. It's called Vedavyasapriya. That's Mayavadi also. They want to annihilate their individuality. Nitya. They cannot become anitya. So they say then another used to come they have a very envious mentality. Avishuddha buddhaya. Vishuddha buddhi and avishuddha buddhi. Dirty intelligence. Who can have dirty intelligence? Except one, either a competitor to become God, that is Mayavadi, an impersonalist who says, oh, there is nothing beyond. And in Bhagavatam, those who are contemplating on the impersonal aspect, they cannot go to Brahmajyoti. There is no access. But they go up to the Mahakalpura, where Lord Shiva is tracking them. Because Mahakalpura is on the other side of the Virja. So Kailash is on the spiritual side, Mahakalpura is on the material side. So those who are thinking on the impersonal, they are bewildered by the Brahmajyoti reflected in Mahakalpura. And they think, oh, really? But Lord Shiva sends them back. So that is near the action of the Manira. Tari Astabhava. Astabhava is that consciousness has been completely diluted. It's not enlightenment. They may rise to the highest point they think. Maybe they think they are liberated. Manina is not establishing that concrete, status. So, Vimukta Manina, Tayyastabhava, Avishuddha Buddhaya. Avishuddha Buddhi means dirty intelligence. The thinking is dirty. They want to kill the Supreme Personality of Godhead and not to surrender Him. So they want to escape. So they're so-called, clever word jugglery or anything. But it cannot be sustained in front of us. They will stop. So he says that Tayyastabhava Avishuddha Arnukya Krichena Paramadam Patanti Yadara. They fall because there is no support system in Brahmajyoti. If there is support system, then you will never think that, oh, I have merged myself. So, it's a bewildering situation. Lord Shiva makes sure that they do not go. Even though Shiva wants to go to Kailash, which is on the other side of Virja, that is his spiritual So, when Gopal arrives at Mahakal, he was very much welcome because he has Gurudeva and he's chanting Krishna mantra. Lord Shiva said, I know. Well, you want to wait? I want to. Lord Shiva said, I will accompany you. Please allow me. But soon, Lord Shiva says, 400 Vishnu forms are coming to take our Gopal. Then Lord Shiva withdraws. Okay, I'm busy here. I'm not going to go. But you go. See, this is the desire when Lord Shiva is ordained to control. It's a job, it's a thankless task on behalf of the Lord. But he made such an arrangement that all his expansions or expansions of the expansions, they can take care of the necessary things. So, in this way we can understand that the impersonalized cannot be equated. There are other situations also by which misinterpretation. Remember, Chaturvida Vedante Mam Jana Sukritiva in Bhagavad Gita. Artho Arthati Jnani Cha Parasana. The word Jnani, they say it is for us, impersonal. Lord Krishna is telling that Yesham Jnani Uttamam. Out of all the four, the Jnanis are the best. So they are best. Krishna knows this. But then what Krishna denies also in 12th chapter of the Gita. That traveling anti-grain means they have to suffer a lot and they cannot achieve it. So, Arjuna is asking, what is the best? To worship you in your transcendental modes, your personality, or impersonal? Krishna chops out the impersonal aspect of all. Somebody asked me the question, see, Jnani is Uttamam, Krishna said, that's at least Jnani. There are two types of Jnanis Krishna is addressing. One is Maya Jnana. Those who are bewildered by the Maya, such Jnanis are condemned. They do not come to even Krishna. They think they are right. They are God themselves. And they can appear and disappear, not at their will, but when they can get some very profit or some kind of donations, then they will be at least. Otherwise, such jnanis are completely, obnoxious. Anyway, so historical references are very essential, and Vishnu Purana gives that. So there should be a question. He satisfies Yudhishthira Maharaj